Well, hi guys. It's Tuesday the 23rd or 4th of September. Um, I've got new plow shears on order. I don't know when they'll come in, naturally. But I've spent a good bit of this afternoon going over this plow, doing some measuring, and moving a bunch of stuff. One being this 3-point tree. I moved it 7 inches that way. And I moved this 3 inches this way. Now, putting the tree where it's at, if you take a center mark off of it, which is here, if you go 24 inches over, that's where the tire on the tractor is. So I knew this plow was not plowing correctly for a lot of reasons. One, this hitch. Two, the back wheel. Kind of as you can see here, it's pretty well straight with the frame. This back wheel was set like this. So as soon as you put pressure on that wheel, it made the plow jump this way. So took this apart and unscrewed it about that much. And now it's has a little to the left, not much, but it has some, and it's got to have some. Doesn't need a lot, it just needs some. It might be 3/8, ½ inch, which is fine. I don't have a manual to set this hitch up, but from past experience, this should work now. It's going to have more pull, of an even pull on the plow instead of being primarily on the left side over here. Like I say, I've moved, this is 7 inches. That was moved 3, so I actually moved the hitch 4 inches this way. Now, I've measured the long back there, and from the center of the drawbar to the center, to the edge of the tire is 24 inches. So this mark is the center. If you come 24 inches, it puts you right about here. Now, it's not a set in stone measurement. I may have to move this one way or the other once I get it in the field, hooked up in the field, and try it. But I knew the geometry of this plow was way off. It was pulling hard on this side, so hard that it was pulling the 3-point arm this way. This whole thing was pulling the plow sideways. So, moving it and trying to center this thing back up, should allow it to plow and pull easier now. It's in that After you've been around enough of these, you kind of know what to look for. When I got it, I knew it was screwed up. I just didn't know how bad. Well, I used it enough to know it had to be moved. It had to be readjusted. Now, I think it'll work. Because the actual pull of the plow now, instead of being over here, is more centered on this second bottom. So you've got an equal pull right and left, if that makes any sense to you. A lot of people say, oh, you got to have it right here. That's wrong. You know, they would say it's between this bottom and this bottom's the center, that's where you pull from. That's wrong. It's the inside of this bottom. And if you look the center of the tree back, it's about lined up. So the plow is now centered on here. This hitch, part of the hitch, there's 2 set screws and you can move it right and left, no problem. So, I think I get new plow shears on and get it back in the field. And of course I'll have to set the depth on the back now, for sure. But I believe this plow will work and will work good. And it'll probably pull easier now, because it isn't so cockeyed. With the hitch being over here, it's wanting to pull it this way, if I remember right, if I remember my geometry right on these. But it's kind of one of those, I haven't done this much adjusting on a plow in years, and I'm trying to remember. This is something that I used to be real good at and used to do a lot of. But everybody's junked their plows, and in the last 4 or 5 years I've set several of these up for other people. So it's kind of in that trying to remember everything deal. But as I said, when I get done, it'll be like a new plow, because basically this thing has not plowed 200 acres total in its life. Had it not been for that fact, I probably wouldn't do what I'm doing to it. The points are eat up from sitting in the dirt, you know. And it wasn't like it is right now, where it's level. It was laying over, so the points were stuck in the ground. That's why they're so wore off, eat off on the points. But, be that as it may, I'm going to call it quits here for today. I believe this is going to work, and it'll work good. Even though I think there's some things about this plow that are still not right. One being the lift. This is set up for a 5 bottom. This should be over here on this beam, or at least turned over. And the cylinder on the outside, it really should be on this beam in here. to be truthful. That way it puts that rod in a straight line with that bottom, or that lift. So, you know, I don't know the deal on this plow when it was bought new. I know the guy that bought it new. I don't know if it was set up to be a 5 bottom because it has the add-on bottom for it. The cylinder is set up for that 5th bottom. So it is what it is kind of deal. So can't do anything about it. But we're going to call it a quits for the call it a day here, guys. I'm hot, I'm tired, and it's time to call it. Sorry guys, the batteries died. But I'm going to call it a day. I'm hot, I'm tired. It's about 5:30. And I've done as much as I can to this thing today. For now. There are some little things I'm going to have to fix, like somehow managed to get that grease zerk out because it's gone. This moves good now. Before it was stiff. Now, if you ain't careful, it'll knock your brains out. But all in all, she's getting to be in good shape now. So guys, we'll see you next time. And as always, please comment, rate, and subscribe. Yeah, it takes a while to straighten one out after somebody's messed with it. So we'll see you next time, guys. Well, hi guys. It's Thursday, the 26th of September. And after doing everything to that plow, came back here and was looking at it along, and I realized something. This wheel wasn't spun out like the other side. So I just got done taking the bolts loose, moving this, and adjusting the wheel. Took several times to get it in the right spot, but now this wheelbase, width-wise, inside is the same as the Oliver. So any plows set for the Oliver will work on this. Any plows set for this will work on the Oliver. Now by moving that wheel, I moved it a little over 4 inches out. So now I'm going to have to move that plow hitch probably at least another 3 inches this way. But we'll worry about that when I hook up to it next. Right now, let's just get this accomplished. And I guarantee you, those bolts had not been loose for a very long time. I don't think they've ever been moved, to tell you the truth. But it has now. The wheel is set out where now the front tire tracks to the outside edge. Just like this one. Where before it was in farther. So, with that being done now, the tractor theoretically is correct. Both sides are set the same now. I'd forgot about this. All the years I've had this, I've wanted to move that wheel out and never thought about it. Well, I had the time today, and figured it'd be a good day to do this. It's miserably hot and dry. The rain we've got so far hasn't amounted to much more than to settle the dust, because it's just light crust. So I'm going to have to do a little waiting before I can do something I want to do. Which, yeah, you'll see that soon enough. I'm going to have some equipment to move around. Disc, corn head, trawler, baler, color packer, field cultivator. They got to get moved. And there's a good reason, and you'll see why when I go to do it. My plow shears for that Massey plow are on order. I just don't know exactly when I will get them. Oh yeah, I got to move the picker too. Got to find a good spot to hide it, so they can hide out and do hangout things, you know. But at any rate, guys, yeah, that's something that's been needed done since I've had this tractor and never got around to it. And then after doing all the work and coming back here, thinking about it, looking at the tractor, it's like, oh, dummy, you really need to move that wheel now. So I did. It's run out a good 4 inches farther than it was. Now it matches the other side, matches the front wheels correctly. So hopefully, when the time comes, yeah, that's looks a lot better now. And I can do something again, I'll be able to do it. Kind of a, I don't know, interesting kind of side note thing. We may be doing a few things this fall a little differently. So be prepared to see some, I don't want to say strange sights, but something a little different. And hopefully it'll work. So I'm going to call it a day here, guys. Hopefully we're going to move a skid steer here after a while. Let's hope for that. We've got 7 gravity beds back there. I need to get into the woods and clean it up and get equipment put up, the barn cleaned up and out, and figured out what I'm going to put in it. I need to get the case, the duals off the case and it back in the barn, and just a million things to do. But my plan is to put wheat in this field. Thought about it long and hard. There's enough trash and grass in that field and the back field. I'm not worried about anything washing. This I am. So when I get the skid steer back, the logs down there will get loaded on the trailer, brought out. I'll move that dirt around with the skid steer, and this will get planted in wheat. A couple 100 pounds of urea spread to the acre. Plant, broadcast fertilizer, irrigate it this way, and plant it. And I may plant it this way, east-west. I don't know yet. Theoretically, next spring, next year, harvest the wheat, I'll use that no-till drill to double crop beans into this. And I've said no-till really doesn't work in this ground unless you get more ideal conditions. Well, usually come July, this ground is dry, hard and dry. So in that respect, that drill will work just fine here. So that's what I'm hoping for. We'll have to see what happens, because that's up in the air. So guys, we'll see you next time, and as always, please comment, rate, and subscribe. A lot of things I'm still trying to figure out, a lot of things to do, and lots of equipment to move, lots to clean up back there. So I'm going to have my hands full, you might say. My list of projects never ceases. So, we'll see you next time, guys. As always, please comment, rate, and subscribe. One project tackled. Another one will be an easy to do on that plow, move that center link over, which will be easy, and that will actually put it more in the center of the plow on the pole, so it'll be equalized. Just takes time to figure all this stuff out and remember. But we'll see you next time, guys.